Hello and welcome to Gorilla and the Geek, the podcast for sweaty nerds by sweaty nerds. My name is Kyle from Geeks Weekly, and I'm here with my good friend, John the Ginger Gorilla. John, happy MDW.
Happy MDW to you too, Kyle. Another week of quarantine means another week of binge watching TV. And as you all might know, unless this is your first episode, then welcome. But as you might know, Kyle and I have been watching Jersey Shore. I just forgot a whole word there.
We've been Jerseying.
We've been Jerseying on Jersey Shore. And we are at season number 4. And that's what we're talking about this week. And Kyle and I said something that literally has bit us in the tookus every single episode since. We're like, season 1 and 2, amazing. Well, guess what? Season 3 and season 4 are also primo. And I say primo because Italia is wonderful.
Yeah, so Jersey Shore season 4, the family goes to Italy. And I think this was the perfect time to do this because you'd imagine by season 4, the producers and the network at MTV are thinking, all right, we're at this insane level. We're like infiltrating the culture. We don't want this to get too repetitive. We still want to go back to Jersey eventually. But why not literally right before they go to Jersey, let's take them to where their roots are from. Let's put them in Italy. And I think it's an incredible decision. And before we even get into any of the categories, I have some stuff I kind of wanted to say about season 4. This is, in my opinion, the most drama-filled season to date. Yeah. Really dark moments here that even eclipse that of like peak season 3 drama. You can tell a lot of time has passed because so much has seemed to change. Dynamics are a little bit different and really begin to change throughout this season. I think this is like a really pivotal moment in Jersey Shore's history. I mean, no, you don't see it anywhere better than the relationship with MVP, Mike Vinnie Pauly, not the MVP of the season, which we will get into later. And we're going to get into this. We're going to have the Mike discussion, but Mike really hits a low point this season. And for me, it was kind of hard to watch because now I know what he was going through in terms of the drug addiction. And you see it now with adult eyes and with more knowledge on the situation. You realize what's going on with him. It's not just that he's being a jerk, which is what I thought in high school. I was like, why is this guy like ruining everything for himself? It wasn't that. He was on drugs, and drugs do bad things to you. And just really, really dark stuff this season. Also secretly dark stuff. The boys never brought girls home. Kind of wild.
Yeah. Wow. Huh. No.
Just Mike with the one girl.
Huh. No.
Yeah.
Huh. The whole season?
Can you recall any time?
I thought one time, I remember Vinny saying, and there's my hot tub, like, in the house. Like, here's this, here's the hot... Yes, he did, because Pauly D said it. Pauly D brought a girl home. Because they're, like, showing the girl, like, they're walking the girl through the house. Like, there's the hot tub. And one of my funny quotes is he points to Ronnie. He points to Ronnie, and he's like, this is what steroids looks like. And I thought that was hilarious because of the fact that it confirms everybody's suspicion. Low key, though. You know?
Big time.
Ronnie's on steroids.
Big time. But that, I think there's only one time. It's not every episode like it was in previous seasons, right?
No, it's definitely a lot less. They make note of it at the end of the season.
I think Snooki says it like,
yeah,
why Italy is so weird.
Mm-hmm. But it was a very interesting season because once again, as Kyle stated, they're getting huge now at this point, right? They are mainstream culture. So having them back in Jersey, it would just create a different dynamic for them, or putting them somewhere else in the United States. Now that I think back, it would be cool if we saw them do like a season in LA or something like that.
For sure, yeah.
That would have been cool, but it probably still wouldn't have worked out great. Just because of how popular they were, right? But you know, it was It was just the drama in this season was absolutely crazy. And you got all different levels of drama and between different people that you normally don't see. And that's what was fun. We started out with the normal Ron and Sam a little bit at the beginning of the season. They were fighting. Um wait, they came into this season not together, right?
Correct.
Okay. Came in not together. Sam said Ron looked good very first day. And then obviously we leave the season and Ron and Sam are together. But at the end of the season, can we agree that this is probably the healthiest Ron and Sam we've seen?
By far. It's not even close. They had one fight at the beginning of the season, which leads to the big moment of the season, which we'll get into in a little bit. And outside of that, it was pretty much gravy.
Yeah.
And with that being said, would you like to get into the least likable for the season?
100%.
All right. So for me, there's 3 contenders. Mike, Snooki, and Gianni. Now, I understand Gianni's not a cast member. However, if we're going overall, there's a strong case for Gianni being the least likable person in this season of television. Snooki is a beloved figure in the show, and he's constantly putting her down on the phone. He gets there, he visits her. They get into a huge fight because Snooki is being Snooki, even though you can debate whether or not that's awesome to see your girlfriend doing that stuff, but different strokes for different blokes, I guess. And Gianni leaves the club, ignores everyone. Ron tries to talk him off the edge, and Ronnie blows him off. Tells Ron to F off on the phone, and he leaves early after one day. So I believe in 24 hours, Gianni, to me, probably he didn't hit Sam early season 3 levels of unlikable, but I think he matched Angelina.
Yeah, that's very understandable. I don't think he's in contention my books.
He didn't win for me, by the way.
No.
I'm just making the case.
But it makes sense that he could come in third and beat out the rest of the house very easily.
Yes. Would you like to hear my Snooki case, or do you have Snooki as well as a contender?
No, I think when you said Snooki, I mean, in my head, I thought it was an easy winner.
There is an easy winner, yes.
So with that said, I do agree that Snooki could come in second.
I mean, the night that Gianni left her stranded at the club, Snooki is like screaming at the top of her lungs at everyone.
Everyone.
Go ahead.
She's just a horrible person to Jenny most this season.
Complaining to her all the time that Jenny's being too honest with her and not being her friend. She hits a cop car. She also drinking to the point of belligerency multiple times, which she usually does, but like, wow,
but
season.
Like, you also said in the past that you were going to try to control it, and you've gotten worse.
Mm-hmm.
So
also cheats on her boyfriend. Like, officially.
Mm-hmm. After she tries covering up, probably cheating on her boyfriend.
Yeah, big time. But as we both know, the real winner is...
Oh, it's Mike. It's the situation.
Or
right?
La Situazione.
Because this is where he really starts his rough times in this show.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, because at the end of the show it's not looking good for him, I'm assuming it continues into season 5. Because they're right back to back. But he is just, man, wow.
From episode 1.
From episode 1. He comes in, he's dying on the shield, dying on the cross, dying on his own sword, whichever part of that saying you want to take. That him and Snooki hooked up and she cheated on Gianni with him. And at the beginning of the season, you don't believe him.
No.
Not at all. Because it's Mike. He talks shit. Like, that's what he does for basically, like, a living. I mean...
Not basically. That is...
Yeah.
Jersey Shore's his living. And,
you
know?
The first night when they're at the club with Snooki and he's like trying to hit on her again, that was so cringe because
Whew.
like all the signals he was getting back was like no, and he was like grabbing her face. First of all, the way Mike hooks up with chicks back in this show, man,
Wouldn't fly in 2020.
not at all. He would grab faces and like kiss them, and like just the moves he makes are so just like aggressive. Now, maybe it was the culture back then, and maybe that's where we are now. But it just, that first night of the club, it was disgusting. So that it starts from the literal beginning.
Yeah, he then goes on to rat on Ronnie, to Sam, like
yes,
the morning after the first night.
dude. One thing I made a note of is he is so good at stirring pots. He cooks up a dish of drama like nobody else. It's like he has some talent of knowing what to say to who and when to say it to just spark this kindling that ignites a huge flame fight of just like craziness. I don't get how he does it, but it's truly amazing.
I think it's because he doesn't care. And he's like, you know what? I'm just going to throw this little bomb in there and watch it blow up. It's just that this season, which we will get into, it really blows up in his face. I mean, multiple bad moments for him. Towards the end of the season, I don't want to skip. I want to skip the middle stuff right now because it goes into later categories.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, maybe I can just skip the Ronnie incident for a later category and just go into everything else. He tells Ronnie that he hooked up with Nicole. Ronnie then tells Jenny and Sam. Don't know why. Well, Ronnie says it's to get him back for all the tattling that Mike's done on him. So it really comes full circle. He gets into a fight with Snooki in which he seems to not be self-aware enough to realize that she doesn't like him. And he's very into himself and just be like, yeah, no, she's gonna leave him for me. There's something between us. I know it. He gets into a fight with Snooki and with Dina, in which both times inanimate objects are thrown at his head. He also alludes to calling Dina fat, bad look, aged very poorly. And by the end of the season, he's literally getting into these like verbal fights with small Italian men for no reason.
Literally, the last episode that they're out at the club, he argues with someone, and everyone else is like, "Why are you arguing with a high school kid?" Because they're in Italy, and high schoolers are allowed to go to bars and clubs. So in my mind, that was actually a high school kid, and Mike's arguing with a high school kid.
Could be.
And like, yeah, he's just picking fights on anyone and everyone at the clubs. And he's just in a bad mindset. Like, just toxic. He is the internet nowadays, embodied in a person.
Yeah.
Stirring the pot, getting drama, picking fights. He is yeah, wow. What a good connection.
Yeah, the situation is, no, I can't really make a pun out of the internet, so we're just gonna move on. Anything else on Mike before we go to the next topic?
No, it's just, I mean, when you watch it, you see it, and not getting into the big event of the season, that's basically it.
But you know what, John? I would like to get into the big event of the season, because up next, let's get into the That's Cringe moment of season 4.
Yes.
Now, before we're getting into the big winner, let's allow me to give some honorable mentions / contenders.
Oh yes, a little appetizer to our dinner.
An amuse-bouche, if you will. Every phone call with Snooki and Gianni is cringe. Literally every single one. Dina trying to get with Paulie. Little sad by the end of it.
When they hook up at the one point, their makeout session is disgusting. They're sword fighting with their tongues at one part.
And Dina seems to want to actually eat Paulie's lip at one point.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Mike trying to get with Snooki. Very, very cringy. You brought it up already. The night that Johnny leaves, that entire walk home, which seemed to last literally forever.
How
Snooki
do you think they
crying.
felt?
Snooki's just crying and screaming at everyone. Ronnie and Jenny are trying to talk to him. It's just a really big freaking yikes for me.
Snooki driving a vehicle in another country and not having her papers and license on her.
I
What
mean,
is
man.
how like these people are our age now, right?
Yeah.
When I go to a different country, I have my papers on me to go for a walk. Like,
It's odd to
what
me.
mindset are they in?
You know, she's crying and kind of yelling at the cops a little bit for telling her to come with them. She's lucky that they allowed her to wait for the papers to even get there.
Yeah.
Here, yo, you don't have your license? Let's
Yeah,
go.
you're coming with us. How do you drive without your license?
I don't know. We know people that have done that before, by the way. But without incriminating anyone, do you have any further That's Cringe nominees before we get to the big winner?
Not that I could think of.
So the winner obviously is the Ron and Mike fight.
Yes, this is This is the most memorable moment of this season.
It's the darkest moment in the show's history, in my opinion. The original Jersey Shore run, not including Family Vacation. I mean, the moment that Sam tells Ron, "Oh, Mike told me you were bringing home other girls and stuff, or calling girls and bringing home like 4 to the house," and you see the look in Ronnie's eyes. He's taking off his watch, takes off his shirt, which he does a lot in the season. He's very proud of his body, clearly.
Steroids.
And he says to himself, "I'm about to get real gully on this kid." And back in high school, when I used to use words like gully, I went like this. Uh-oh. And Ronnie goes up, lifts Mike's couch that he's sleeping on with one hand, throws it into the air, then proceeds to go into the shared room between the two of them. By the way, really poor decision on Mike's part to decide to room with Ronnie, especially after what happened in season 3. But I digress. And he pulls what I'm referring to now as the Ronnie special. It costs $5.99, and what he does is he goes into your room and throws everything you own into the air, like a pizza, really.
Like a pizza. A good thing he worked at that restaurant.
Pizzeria.
He learned a lot. Yeah.
I think he was perfecting his form for this moment.
Mm-hmm.
It was trying to get to peak flipping ability.
Yeah.
Mike then gets in there and does something that I did not expect when I was watching it originally. Starts screaming back at Ronnie, and I'm like, "What is this dude doing?"
Dude, I made a note. He doesn't go from 0 to 100. He goes from 0 to 1,000. Like, he goes, "Ron, I didn't do it. Ron, I didn't. Ron!" And he goes like Super Saiyan. Like, spit flying out of his mouth. Not just a little. Loogie? There was
about like 4 inches.
It was disgusting.
Of lube. Crazy.
And just like, I know Kyle can't see my video because I'm using it for the recording, but his arms flail down and he goes, "Duh!" Like, it's like he's charging up. It was crazy.
Which we later find out was a part of his plan in trying to scare Ronnie. Didn't work. He then proceeds to thrust his head into a concrete wall, which he obviously didn't realize was concrete. Instant concussion. Falls to the floor. Dazed look in his eyes.
Dazed.
How do you think he got up? Do you think it was adrenaline?
No, I just think he wasn't, like, I think he hit his head, dazed himself, while he was laying on the floor, just didn't give a fuck about Jenny talking to him. So he was just kind of collect his thoughts. Okay, that didn't work out well. What do I do now? And then Ron just kept going. So then he just kind of refueled his anger, and he got up, and they fight.
And then they fight, which
couldn't be better for his head.
No.
Ron tries throwing knees again. I don't know if you notice.
Well, no, I noticed that. But first, Ron throws a punch clean at Mike, and it does nothing. It bounces right off him. And that's
Wait, does he hit?
Yeah, no, he connects. Uh, Paulie makes a note of it later on in that episode, saying that he doesn't think that Ryan knows how to fight because he threw a punch and nothing happened. I actually watch that fight back. Watch it back, and when he throws a punch, picture a rubber ducky sound, that squeaky. Picture that when he throws it, you'll die. Trust me. Throws a punch, starts throwing knees, and this is the moment where I realized there were security members with them at all times.
Well, yeah, well, no, I realized that earlier on with the whole JWoww fight.
See, I didn't notice that as a teenager. I notice it now, though.
Well, this time, I was saying to myself, why isn't anyone else stepping in, trying to break them up? They try to always break up the girls, and then they don't step in when these two guys are fighting. And then I realized they might be told at this point, there has been so many fights, they might have been told, don't step in, we have security, they'll come. Yeah. Which, think about that. Do you have security around them all day? Or is it like they're going out drinking, security's going to be on from this hour to this hour? Like maybe they're at the club with them, they come back with them because they know that things pop off, usually when they're drunk.
I'm actually going to assume that they were always around, especially in Italy.
I wonder how much that cost.
Well, it's MTV. They had the money, especially back then.
That's true.
Especially with that show in particular. The ad rates on that show was probably insane. So they have the fight. It ends in Mike getting a concussion and a neck sprain. Ronnie is... I remember back in high school watching it, saying to myself, I know people who could get like this. This is terrifying. This is a really, really big example of what people picture toxic masculinity to be nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's just a really rough moment for him. It really shines a light on how Mike and Ronnie, since season 1, have had little brewing beef that eventually was going to hit a boiling point. And Jenny mentions it that the fight was long overdue. Also, that line makes you really question how these people view life. That they're like, well, no, you have to fight in order to get stuff over with. It's like,
yeah,
no,
it's such a different mindset than from where I'm at now, right? Like,
I actually say out loud, hey guys, we're too old for this. Don't fight.
In college, I was like, oh, I want to be a teacher. If I fight someone, I might not get a teaching license one day. Like, but these people are like, no, I'm angry. Hulk smash. Rah!
Crazy.
It's just so barbaric almost.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like gym, tan, laundry, get girls, and fight each other, bro. And then we're going to drink.
Yeah. And I think from that moment on, it did have one good outcome. And that's the Ron and Sam relationship really calming down.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think that to an extent there was there just needs to be some sort of drama going on. And when one set of drama picks up, the other drama feels like, hey, we got this drama in the house now, I could calm down. So maybe Sam and Ron just early on were just like, hey, we'll be the brunt of the drama for the show. Without knowing it, obviously. But like Mike just took that burden off of everybody else in the show this season, carried it on his back, and was like, don't worry, guys. I'll fuel all the drama this season. And then Snooki's here like, hey, don't forget about me every now and again.
Yeah, I mean, man. Just like watching it back, the fight is one of the most iconic moments in the show's history. But as a teenager, I was a little bit excited to watch it. I was like, oh, they're going to fight. Now as an adult, I'm like,
it's sad to see.
This is dark.
Because, like, I mean, obviously we grew up. But, like, now, this is one of the reasons that I'm really enjoy watching it at this age, is I could relate to them and I could compare almost, like, where I'm at and where they're at. Because they're about the same age now. And at this age, with my best friends, I would never think, hey, I want to fight them.
Now, we've gotten into, everyone in our friend group has gotten into verbal altercations
Well,
with one another.
yeah, because we're human. But then guess what? Did I ever say, hey, this is the moment I'm going to punch Kyle in the face?
No.
No. Have I, like, I don't even know anyone in our group, like, pushing or shoving at one another.
No. I can't think of
Like,
anything.
it's just, we don't even get to the level where we're like, like, I don't even, has anyone even aggressively pointed? Like,
No, pointing, yeah, but
okay.
never making contact
So
with one another.
that's our limit. We could aggressively point. And then it's like, but even when you get there, it's like the rest of the squad is like, whoa.
Whoa, take it easy, man.
What's that thing? What does your finger do something we don't know? Calm down. Calm down. And this group, they're like, all right, and they're just like, guys, Sunday we'll clear it all up. We'll be back together.
Yeah, exactly. Except for that last Sunday dinner,
That's
also
awkward.
That is also a contender for that scringe, but doesn't beat out this moment. Also, just something I wanted to throw in there.
Mm-hmm.
We get our first ever instance of someone outside of Angelina being legitimately mad at Pauly D.
Yes. Dina, right?
Yeah. And it's really odd to see because twice in the season, I mean, Pauly straight up rats her out with what she said about Mike. And he was in the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, the guys can never be wrong. And the second instance is when I think Pauly tells Vinny, of course he tells Vinny to do this, tells Vinny to put Dina's bed outside the room. And Dina cries. And when Dina's crying to them, they tell her, like, no, you're the one who changed. We pick on you and you're supposed to take it. But because you don't like it anymore, you're the one who's in the wrong here. And Dina, of course, takes the L on the argument. Kind of a rough season for Pauly in that regard as well. For me. Just want to throw that out there.
With that argument, I was very curious about how, like, things we didn't see off camera and like from earlier on with Dina, how much joking was she able to take earlier on? Because for them to say that, in my mind, I was like, oh, she was probably a really good sport the first year. But then I was like, well, it's also her first time in the house. Obviously, she's going to be a good sport. But even that, you then think back and you go, well, in Seaside, she did get a little upset with some of the joking.
Yeah.
So, them still going, it was just kind of dicky.
Yeah, really, yeah. This is a season of toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Hot take: Jersey Shore started the modern feminist movement.
Makes a lot of sense.
Boom.
Yeah.
And with that being said, let's move on to some lighter topics with the funny moments of the season.
Yes.
Unless you had anything else to add about the Ron and Mike fight?
No, just one more. That's cringe. Which is kind of funny. When Mike tries to apologize when they were doing the sightseeing tour, and he buys the girls roses, and it's just so awkward.
I forgot to mention the whole sightseeing tour when Mike's like sitting off by himself.
He's just sulking. Yeah.
It's so annoying.
I have another thing that made me think of, because of thinking of Mike. When he's in the neck brace and he's sulking around the house, like, no one, if this was someone else in the house, I would check up on him. Well, also, you're probably really not that hurt. Like, your neck's a little sore, but the neck brace, like, you don't have vertebrae damage.
The hospital gave it to him.
Also, that neck brace, was it really? It was cushion. Was it really that supportive? Like,
well,
that was
because it's because he had a sprain.
But think about the neck braces we use now. They're plastic. They're supportive of your neck to hold it so you don't, like, move it back and forth. That one was basically a cushion, so you try not to move it back and forth. But really, you can still move your neck. And I think, like, when he took it off, he, like, it was like a awakening at the end. He was like, I'm gonna man it up. He literally says, I'm gonna man up, and he rolls his neck a little bit. He's like, I'm gonna be fine. And it's like, oh, so now you could just fully through 360 roll with your neck, but a day ago you were like, oh. He'd sit down, he'd go, oh. And I've had neck injuries to the point where, like, There was one time I was weightlifting and I pulled a muscle in my neck, and I was for like 2 hours after I was stuck looking down because I just couldn't move my neck. Like, it was a weird situation.
Yikes.
Because you think like looking straight. No, I was looking down, and I get it. I get neck pain, but I think he was overreacting to get sympathy, because he
oh,
says
for sure.
if anyone else in the house was injured, I would have checked up on him more. I would check up on him, and it seems like he was craving attention this season.
Well, I mean, he also was on drugs, so that's probably why.
That's true. Good point.
And
Good point.
I actually had Mike's neck brace scene in my funny moments of the season. I think it's an iconic frame from Jersey Shore.
Him with the sunglasses and the neck brace.
Big time. I actually use that as a never mind. So anyways, we go into the funny moments, and I'm gonna list off some of mine. We have the meatball problems going into the meatball problems morning, that entire night.
Meatball hilarious. Problems.
Nicole burns her kuka in the in the jacuzzi.
Meatball problems.
They go all the like. This is the first ever 12-hour spiral.
Dude, they drink from afternoon when they're shopping through the night until the next morning, and they fall asleep at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, the restaurant, you could tell at the end the restaurant's like, get up, get out. Like, you could see like a manager like in the background, like, when you get what is happening here? Why do we have these American trash bags sleeping on our? Because they looked like prostitutes. They even said that.
Yeah. We also had the meatballs fighting each other. Hilarious.
Meatball problems.
We have.
Oh my god! Yeah, that was great.
We have the moment in which both meatballs throw a wine bottle and a spatula at Mike. I found both equally hilarious.
Dude, and Snooki's wine bottle throw where it smashes on the wall was so perfect. Like, the way it hits the wall and just explodes. It was the most perfect, dramatic, like, almost something out of a movie.
Oh, yeah, you know the cameraman.
He's running, and it smashes. And it just goes back to set, like, how amazing this show is that they're able to, like, just get that to, wow. You know? Wow.
Yeah, just really good stuff. We also have Dina falling a lot this season.
Which isn't not normal.
No, it's a concept, but it's Italian falling.
It solidifies. It's Italian falling.
We have
again.
Mia. We have multiple Dina things. We have the Dina dances her underwears off, as well as showing her kuka in a club.
Yeah, how do you
all in one night?
Just fully just dancing with her kuka out.
And the final Dina moment I have, let's be honest.
Wow.
What a night.
She just...
2 nights, actually.
Yeah. And it's funny because... Was it... This season wasn't the twins, right? Or yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Okay. What? That felt like so long ago. She starts off with that, and she's like, that's not me. And then she just goes back to having lesbianic moments with Snooki.
Which, fair play to her.
They did more than make out. Snooki just stays lying to Gianni.
I know.
Dude, that guy he really loves her.
No, there's a case for both of them as the unlikable ones, and Snooki had some rough moments this season.
Dude.
And my final funny moment, the fist pumps, push-ups, chapstick. FPC.
Fist pumps, push-ups, chapstick.
Those are my funny moments. Do you have anything else?
When Dina is going through her lesbianic, how she tag robbed Vinny out of the twin. She pulled the twin out of the bed. They did stuff. Then the twin went back to the bed and then did stuff. Shout out that twin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got it in.
Your faces, and you're known for that on Jersey Shore.
What a performance on her part. I mean,
Wow.
it's,
She had a long night. She must have been exhausted the next day.
later on in my notes
Dehydrated.
For the MVP discussion, I have a comparison to a great athlete. That Twins performance this season, it's a double double. She's out here getting after it, getting those rebounds, giving people's assists. It's excellent work. And my funniest moment out of those is probably, man, this is one I had trouble with. I'm gonna go with Dina dancing her underwears off. I just think that's like they're tied on, and as she's going, they just the shot of it slowly falling down.
It looks sad, yet it's hilarious. That
Incredible.
whole day, I think, is like just a montage of funny. So they're doing like they're dancing, but then all of a sudden, Dina's holding up a napkin like and Snooki's doing bull horns, and she runs and then runs directly and just falls into a bush.
Yeah, so good.
Um,
So good.
Oh my god! This is like a cringe, but I was laughing hysterically at it. After everything happens with the Gianni and Snooki, the next day when she's sad and she goes to the bar by herself and she's dancing at the bar, and she just announces to basically people just eating lunch, yet she's
Yeah.
partying at a bar. My boyfriend left me. I flew him out to Italy and he left me, so I'm drinking and dancing. Y'all can't judge me. And she just like a wreck just dancing. I was hysterically laughing at that.
Yeah, so good. And I want to save the MVP discussion for last because I have a little bit of a hot take with that. Would you like to get into the quotes next?
Yeah. Most of my quotes that I made super notes about were from Paulie D, who's very quotable this season. Obviously, Taxi Son Qui, our Italian version of Cabs here. I said this one earlier, but him just leading the girl through the house and nonchalantly pointing to Ron, being like, "This is what steroids looks like." Like that, I had to pause everything. I was like, "No way, this is too great." And then another one, he said, when Mike runs into the wall, he goes, "I think Mike tried to commit suicide so he doesn't have to deal with Ron and Sam's shit anymore." Which was kind of on the lines of it. Those were my most notable.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And so here's some of mine. This one is an interaction with, I think it was Snooki and the tour guide. Tour guide, Cupid, the son of Venus, who will throw the arrow of love.
Dina.
Snooki.
This was Dina.
Oh, this was Dina? Confirmed?
Yeah, Dina. Yeah.
Okay. Dina. So they're real? Tour guide. Oh, what do you mean they're real? Dina. The babies with wings. That's cool. Tour guide goes, they're the gods of the Greeks and Romans. And Vinny just shakes his head because he can't believe what just happened. Oh, incredible exchange.
Oh, when Gianni and Snooki are fighting, and then Snooki's like on the phone, she's like, "It sounds like he was at a freaking bar," and JWoww just starts referring to Snooki as Sam.
Yeah.
And then Sam goes, "Stop! We don't fight anymore. That's old me."
Yeah, that's a good one too. I'm sorry, when you were saying the Paulie quotes, did you say the one about Ron and Sam smushing?
No.
So Paulie D goes, the whole house knows it took 5 minutes for them to get their smush on. No wonder Sam never smiles.
When Gianni's there and Mike is practicing his kung fu and doing like karate in the mirror, it's not necessarily a quote, but
oh no, he goes, "Should I kick his head off?"
Yeah. Oh, and then Dina references him being Kung Fu Panda.
Super good.
But it's just funny, him looking in the mirror, throwing kicks, and then fixing his hair. Fucking, oh my god.
True douche peak. We also have Mike going, "I feel helpless. I can't eat. I can't GTL. It's a pretty serious situation." An exchange between Sammy and Dina, what are these weird strawberries? Are they good like this? And then Dina goes, they're raspberries.
Oh my god, bro, these people are not the brightest. Um, the night after Dina hooked up with the chick, and she just walks out, just absolutely hungover, and she goes, "I need food." And oh no, this was after Snooki, and the next morning they're hungover. She walks out, she just looks like a wreck. She goes, "I need food," and Vinny goes, "You didn't eat enough last night."
Savage.
The whole let's be honest thing.
Yeah,
The
I mean that
reference
was a
to.
huge quote in high school. We were
Mm-hmm.
saying that all the time back then, or at least I was. And then my last quote is Vinny going, "Seeing Nicole cleaning is like seeing Mike with a condom. It just doesn't happen." And oh wait, I'm sorry, one last one. When you're trying to eat pizza, there is nothing less appetizing than Dina's dirty thong hanging above you. That was Vinny after they hung up their stuff. Oh, the pizzeria. That's
Oh, another funny moment just to watch was Ronnie was dancing at the club the one time and he had crazy legs. He refers to himself, "Oh, crazy legs" comes out. First of all, that just style of dancing makes me giggle. And then he hurts his knee and he has his leg up on the like the couch of the club, and yet he's still bouncing on the other knee, and Sam's trying to get him to stop, and he's just, but like, I kind of wish we had this Ron and Sam all the time
yeah,
because it's fun. It's
I know.
it's fun. It's a lot more lighthearted, but I don't think the show would be what the show was.
So that's a question I have for you. We have oh, by the way, another quote that I just thought of because it was the hardest I laughed at Ronnie ever. Ronnie puts out the fire on the grill and he goes, "I'm like a fireman right now. I got a fat woman jumping on trampolines." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's what's up." And for some reason, the fat woman jumping on trampolines line off the top rope out of nowhere had me rolling. But my question to you would be, we have this version of Ron and Sam this season. If we had that fun and nice Ron and Sam throughout the show, do you think the show would still be as successful as it was? Because I mean, it, it bred memes in like the late 2010s, even that stop Ron stuff. Do you think without it, the show would have been maybe a little less cringe, but a little bit more boring? Or do you think it would have been equally as fun?
I mean, it's one of those things. Obviously, I don't think we could fully say yes or no. Now, I do think it would have been successful. I think it still would have been very successful due to the fact that they're not the only source of drama in the house. I think if they didn't stem so much drama, then other drama would have erupted.
Or been
Um,
focused on more?
I just think, yeah, that too. I just think they're the type of people. By them, I just mean everyone in the house who their um personalities just need that drama almost. They almost live off of it to a certain extent. Um it's just that whole, now you get it with the Real Housewives type of stuff. They fuel everything off of drama. It's just like, I think some people like drama and so it's fueled. Now, we know Mike, he likes to start drama. So maybe he would have ramped up a little more with the Sam and
Possibly.
Ron stuff popping off. He just felt like, maybe I don't need to stir the pot. I could just sit back and watch.
Hmm.
Um, but who knows? Maybe other people would have been less likable because they would have gotten more drama, like Paulie. Who knows? Maybe more things would have happened with him
Really good
or
point.
Vinny. Who I think dynamics in the house would have changed. I feel like there's only a certain like, it's almost like a scale. You could like people so much. It's like when you start a new game and you have to put stats in certain places. You only have so much to give. So like right now, we gave in the early seasons, you gave Paulie, Vinny, all these high likability. So Sam and Ron couldn't have it because they're arguing all the time. But
True.
if you give them more likability, then maybe other people's went down. It's an even scale that you just got to give and take. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it would have been as?
I think it would have been just as successful. I think it would have been fine. I think maybe there was other stuff that we just never saw because the Ron and Sam stuff was such a big focal point of the season.
Yeah,
And
production team
also,
did a wonderful job.
I think when Ronnie's out doing single Ronnie stuff, he's extremely entertaining. It's
Yeah,
insane to watch him. And
definitely.
Sam, the one or two times that we saw her be single, she was fun to watch too. When she's not in drama, Sam's likable.
Yeah.
And with that being said, with those two being discussed as likable, I'd like to move on to the final topic of this pod, the MVP of the season.
MVP.
Now, John, what I would like for this one to be, I want us each to give our honorable mentions if we have them. I have three, and then we'll each say our MVP winner. So, for myself, my contenders are runners up, I mean, Ronnie, JWoww, and Dina. Now, Dina doesn't get the award for me because she CB'd a couple times, especially the legendary tag team robbery situation.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. Ronnie would have won the award if he didn't have the fight with Mike. That's like if Michael Jordan was having a season in which he averaged like 37 points a game, but missed a quarter of it. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's too much has happened there where we can't really put you in there.
Mm-hmm.
And JWoww does some really good stuff, but maybe not as impactful as the other two contenders. What about you? Who are your runners up that you have?
My runners up are Vinny,
Interesting.
Dina, and then Ronnie.
All right, so we have two of the same ones. Can you make the case for Vinny real quick?
Um, I like his personality.
I think he bosses
I
up in
think
this season.
Yeah, I think he comes out a little bit. He the whole him and Paulie pairing, um,
Oh yeah,
is
very
just
good.
perfect together. Um, and you see more of him this season, I think,
If you think
than
about it,
other seasons.
he takes Mike's previous role with Paulie.
Of being the bromance, and their bromance really pops off this season. Now it was there in other seasons, but this season I think they go into a bed, they cuddle. The one time they joke around about fucking, and then like Snooki comes in, she's like, "Oh, I didn't get to see it. Do it again." Um, and that part's really funny because it's Paulie opens up a condom and is like holding it like it was like used. Um, but yeah, I just think, who's your MVP?
So, my MVP of this season, drum roll, please. Sammy, sweetheart.
You wanna know what's crazy?
What?
That was mine.
All right, let's have the Sammy discussion.
She has the ultimate redemption arc this season.
All right, so here's my note.
You can't script it.
Here's what I wrote. Her comeback story is right up there with Jordan in '96 and Tiger Woods in 2019. It's a true all-time performance. She's involved in the least amount of drama this season, and it's the first time ever.
Dude, every other season she's been the like least likable.
Yeah.
And then she comes in and she's like, "Guys, I'm here. And you know what? Little bit of drama at the beginning of the season, brushes it aside, moves on. It's okay. I'm good. I'm changed."
Sam's this is probably the funniest she's ever been. And you have her opening line of the season is she's reading off of an Italian phrase book, and it's "I have cramps, oi crumpy." Like, that's just funny stuff. And her funniest line for me, the episode prior to the last one, I believe, she's cooking with Jenny, and in her solo shot interview, she goes, "Me and Jenny, we don't really normally get along because we're both bitches." And her self-awareness this season is just so great to see. It shows that she's like growing up a little bit. Now, who knows if this continues past this season, but I found myself floored by Samantha this season.
Yeah, she's likable. which you don't really see much before this. She's a mediator at some points
Yeah,
where she always needed the mediating. She just took on a role that truly we didn't know was there. Um, and it was refreshing to see because it gives her not just the uber villain role throughout the whole series. Um, and to this point, now I truly don't remember a crazy amount about season 5 and season 6. Because I think all these other ones I've watched multiple times or seen bits and pieces multiple times. Where season 5 and season 6, I think I watched them when they came out and that was it. Um, and so I don't know if she carries this likability throughout those 2 seasons, but if she could come back, because we're losing a cast member on Family Reunion, so maybe they want to bring someone in. Now's the time. Act like this, Sammy. Beautiful. We get to fill in what you've been doing in life,
yeah,
um, and just get a little highlight of things.
for sure. And with that being said, do you have any closing thoughts on Jersey Shore season 4 before we sign off?
Um, just a little thing of their glow ups this season
Hmm.
was so noticeable. Um, I think a couple of them had plastic surgery done. Um, Snooki lost all her weight, which she mentioned at the beginning of the season. She
Good for
goes to the
Snooki, by the
gym
way.
now. Yeah.
Looks
Mm-hmm.
awesome this season.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And she has what is going to be her future husband. Now, obviously, there's a bunch of drama with them, but you see things start maturing almost, falling into the role of now they're becoming celebrities. Um, Even going through Italy, you could see in certain shots people are following them. Now maybe it's just the camera being around and the production crew. Maybe that's why, but maybe they're being noticed. I don't know where this was aired because I know it eventually got aired throughout the world. But I didn't know if at that time maybe some people knew of them. Um, but spoiler alert, I started watching season 5, the very first episode, and coming back that they're celebrities.
Oh,
Um,
especially here, yeah, for sure.
there's a little shot of them being like people yelling in the background while they're walking, and you could tell they're like huge. But that's getting ahead of it. Um, Dude, I mean, all I have to say is I eat my words proudly. This season was amazing. Um, might the first 4 seasons might be the best seasons of reality TV ever that I could think of.
I'm putting it up there.
I mean, now given we did a Love Is Blind reality review, we did a Circle reality review. I don't think they touched Jersey Shore. Now, also, they're not
Not
the
a
same
single
thing.
season but not a single season we've watched of Jersey Shore is worse than either of those 2 seasons of TV.
Yeah, it's
Jersey Shore
truly
is the goat.
amazing. Jersey Shore, and it's sad that they couldn't replicate it, right? Like they haven't really done it with anything else. They're
Again,
trying with Florida Bama Shore. Dude, I almost, and maybe this is something we could do after season 6. I almost want to watch season 1 of Florida Bama Shore. Just grind through it, me and you, just so we critique it. See what they did wrong. Why the people don't work. More of like a critique review instead of I think it could be worth it.
we'll talk about it off camera. I might be able to be persuaded, but after watching this season for the third time, by the way, I am ready to say that while season 2 is my favorite, the first 4 seasons of Jersey Shore and probably the first 5 seasons, if we're looking ahead, are some of the most entertaining things that you can do in quarantine. Watching this show is just a great amount of fun, sprinkled in with some drama, a whole lot of laughs. I'm very happy that we're doing this. I'm very appreciative of this show, having it back then in high school to help kind of bring Jersey to the forefront a little bit, even though it was for some negative reasons. And I just think it's just a fun television watching experience.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't been replicated since, if you ask me. I know we got friends that are fans of the Real Housewives, some of the Real World as well. But for me, it's it's this, and there's nothing quite like it.
You just can't touch it. Like, and now, given maybe it is also a nostalgia thing for us, but rewatching it, I think I'm enjoying it more now than
Yeah.
I did back then. So I think that says a lot, and that's one of the things. I don't know the demographic who watches this, um, but if you're in high school, give this a watch because it just you see it differently through a high school eyes and then eyes now. So if you're in high school, give it a watch. If you're around Kyle's and mine age in your 20s, give it a watch because it's so entertaining. Now, obviously, I can't speak to 30-year-olds, 40, 50, so on. Rewatching this, will I want to? Hell yeah. I think this is going to be a decade thing. Each decade, I feel like I need to give this a good watch to critique and see it through new lenses. Once I'm a parent, I want to rewatch this so then I could be like, this is someone's kids. Like, can you like? Because now I think like, just trying to see it through that lens. Can you imagine being their parents?
Nope.
I
Don't even want
can't,
to think about it.
because some of them had a watch.
Yeah, for sure. Paulie's
Now,
mom makes a reference to it. I think at the beginning of season 3, she references the hot tubs and stuff, and I'm like, oh, yikes.
it's crazy. I mean, but it's hands down by far the best reality TV show that we've ever gotten.
Yeah, and I think that'll wrap it up here for us at
Perfect.
Gorilla and the Geek. John, where can the people find you?
As always, you can find me at mixer.com/Ginger Gorilla. Come watch me play video games. Come hang out. I got a couple things in the work to make it a little more exciting and interactive with chat. Things are slowly growing. It's awesome to see. And then YouTube, obviously at Ginger Gorilla Gaming on YouTube. Every Friday, I'm going to be putting out Fortnite highlight videos if you like that type of stuff. If that's not your taste, though, I'm also doing Let's Play videos that release every day at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, you might not be into video games, but let me tell you, these video games that I'm playing have storylines that are like TV shows. That is one of the biggest reasons that they're so beloved, and it makes it enjoyable to watch. You don't have to play it, you don't have to buy the game, you don't actually have to go through it. I highlight most of the cutscenes, stick straight to the missions themselves. So then it just seems I try to make it as much of a TV show and go through the game. So it's just the main storyline. So you get the story, get that entertainment, and then we're done. And then obviously Instagram, Ginger Gorilla Gaming, Twitter, Ginger Gorilla. Look for the logo as always. Kyle, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Buff Charmander. You can find me on all your favorite podcast apps. The Geeks Weekly feed, just Geeks Weekly, not feed, is in there. Although I do like to eat. And while we were recording this, the Geeks Weekly YouTube channel where you can find me just hit 200 subscribers.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you. So that's pretty cool. Doing a lot of stuff over there. We got some long form and short form content pumping out a lot, very frequently now. And if you're not following John on Mixer, make sure you do so because he is getting very close to 1,000 followers. Followers. And that is where you can find the both of us. Thank you all very much for watching and listening. Be sure to join us again next week for the second to last episode of doing this. I always get kind of sad when these series that you and I do are starting to wrap up. I'm like, I'm not going to have this thing to do this week. That's unfortunate. But don't worry, we're still going to be pumping out the good old content here at Gorilla and the Geek. And yeah, once again, thank you all very much for watching and listening. I've been Kyle from Geeks Weekly, joined as always by my good friend, John the Ginger Gorilla. And we will see you again next time.
Peace out, everybody.